My name is Wayne Brown,
And I'm Lois Sand.
and we've been married 49 years.
How did you meet each other?
A little girl she wanted to introduce to me, and so she called Ann in there. I was in the kitchen, leaned back in a chair, and just got through combing my hair, fixing to start combing it again. But she came in there with her hands on her head, like this, walking around with her hands on her head, and she didn't impress me as a girlfriend type at the time, because we were both just 14. And over the years, she started showing me some interest in me, and I started taking a little interest in her. And she was all the time laughing and giggling, and I thought she was a little too silly to start with. I was too serious. But I got to thinking, I wished I could be a little bit happier than she was. And it rolled around over the years. By the time I went, she tried to get me to walk her home. I'd walk her home, and I'd say, now listen, if your old man starts some trouble with me now, you're going to be sorry. Anyway, I'd walk her just about to her yard, and it kept on till I was taking her to work in my old 57 Ford ranch wagon.
When did you start falling in love with each other?
I think we really started falling in love with each other when we were around 17. He got his notice to go into the service, and his grandmother asked me to write him. And I think that's when our relationship started getting serious.
How did you find out you were being drafted?
I got a letter in the mail, what called a draft notice. Said that my friends and neighbors had called on me to serve in the U.S. Army, and told me when and where to report to.
How did it affect your relationship, him being gone?
Well, I was very worried because I didn't know if he was going to come home. And he came home on furlough, and he took me to the beach with my brother and his wife, and it was a lot of fun. And we always had a nice relationship. And when I found out he was a Nam, his grandmother asked me to write him, but I didn't. He didn't ask me to marry him before he left, so I just continued on my life. I wrote him every day, and I made sure that if I dated a guy, I'd tell him, I'm not interested in you now. I'm only dating you because when Wayne gets home, I'm marrying him. So I told, when I would double date, we always double dated with my friend Helen. They always knew that I was not going to have I wasn't going to be a sweetheart. I'm just having fun. And I did. I had fun. and he would write me, and he would be upset about me going out. He'd ask me to wait on him. He wanted me to marry him when he got home. And so I gave him a lot of grief when he was in Nam.
How did you both keep your faith while he was gone?
Well, I prayed a lot, and I knew that when we was a day behind over there, and I knew that she was having her day every night when I was having my night, and vice versa. But I'd be in the foxhole every night, pulling guard as usual. And that's one thing about Vietnam, on duty 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We'd have fire mission all the time during the day and night, guard duty at night, and I spent a lot of time in the bunker of praying and asking God to keep her for me till I got home. And the Lord did.
I did the same. I prayed every night that the Lord would bring him home because I needed him. And I had faith that God would bring him home. And I never doubted that he wasn't going to come home. I knew he was going to come home. And we had went to church together before he left. So we both went to church. We were both in one mind and one accord when it came to our belief and our faith. And I think that's important in any relationship, that you have that oneness of mind, especially considering your faith. I think that's important. That you make it good now.
Okay.
Wait. How did it feel when you got back from Nam?
I remember I was very elated when I got on the helicopter leaving base camp, headed home. And I was the happiest guy on that helicopter. And very unusual for me because I was usually a little depressed and all this, that, and the other, but I got happy that day I was leaving Vietnam. Anyway, by the time I got home, I was sort of burnt out and still couldn't sleep at night. But we reestablished our relationship, and we started back continuing on where we had left off. And and within 40 days we was married after I got home. So we made a lot of progress in those 40 days. And we put the date off a little bit further, but we sort of got things underway where we need to get married right quick. But we just wanted to be man and wife. After all we went through with, we was tired of fooling around. And we set the date up, got married a little bit quicker than what we originally set the date. But it didn't It was all within 40 days after I got home.
You want me to tell you what all we did in those 40 days? Okay, I'll tell you when he got home. His cousin came down. I was working. I worked. And he came. He said, Wayne's home. He didn't tell me he was home. He'd been home about 3 days. And I said, well, where is he? He says he's at Creamer's store. I said, well, get in the car and I'm going to go see. So when I got over there, he was standing in the store when I walked through the door. And that was it. we started dating, and well, he was a little angry at me when he come home. So we started going out, and we went out, and we rented us a house, and we furnished it, and we got married in 40 days.
How soon after you got back did you get married and have children?
We was married within 40 days, and that was, I got back in June '68, and we had our first son on August the 2nd of 1969.
So we were married 3 months, and I got in the family way. So we didn't wait long.
Anyway, I wish we could have put that off and had a little bit more time with each other, but anyway, things happen. Families get started.
Was it hard raising 5 children?
Well, we had with the one, and he was very hyper, and we had a medical problem with him. He got on, the doctor gave him some medicine that was too strong for him, and anyway, he had to get a shot to get a shot of adrenaline and all that to get him back to breathing. And he was always very hyper. If I ever want to take a picture, I'd have to hold his arm, keep him in the frame, take the picture. And the next one come along was Jason, and she very much wanted another child. And I was always willing to put it off. But anyway, she got her way, and here comes Jason. And we had a lot of problems with him, raising him, but he had bad allergies. But through prayer and everything, we found out it was medication. He was allergic to penicillin. Got off penicillin, he got better, and everything was downhill with him from then on.
Or uphill. And then I had Jennifer, and she was the most beautiful little girl. And her little hands looked like a baby doll's hands. Porcelain. When I brought her home from the hospital, she's so beautiful. And then Michael and Aaron, and our family, we really enjoyed each other. And I don't think we ever had a dull moment, ever. There was always something going on. And the kids were energetic, and I enjoyed my children more than a person could enjoy anything, because I wanted to be that wife and that mother. And I had a wonderful, I enjoyed them.
If If you could go back in time, would you make any changes?
No.
No, I'll tell you why. Because I saw a lot of miracles that brought us through some things that was a matter of life and death. And even with the bad things that happened, we were delivered from bad things. And if I went back and changed anything, we may not have received some of those miracles that we got. So I'm just thank the good Lord He brought us through it and provided.
Would you say that your love is as strong as the first time you told him or her that you love them?
I think so. I love him. He's my soulmate. I always told everyone that I would be happy with him if I had to live in a chicken coop. And I always meant that. Because he is my soulmate.
I believe that love don't never burn out. It just gets brighter and brighter. And as long as you got love, you got everything you need.
The night I committed, that I committed to you for life.
Oh man, that's a long story. I don't
No,
want to tell
you can
just
tell-
a little part of it.
You can tell by where you left your grandma's house and you were walking by the road and how
That's 15-minute story. Anyway,
The more the better.
we'll shorten it.
Whenever you're ready.
how much?
You talk
I got
till you
100. I
run
got
out of breath.
146 minutes. So
Oh,
Talk till you run out of breath.
Well, I can't condense it, but I have to tell the whole thing the way it happened. But she came over to see me one day, and I got playing with her on the couch and tickling her, and she said, "Don't tickle me, I'll wet my pants." And so I just kept on until I made her wet her pants, and then she stormed out of the house and left mad. And I knew I had really blew it. And I knew that she's fixing to go do something that I couldn't forgive her of. Like going out with a previous date while I was in Vietnam. And but anyway, I got to pacing the floor back in two, and I knew I was in trouble with her, and I knew I couldn't go over to her house, and I knew what she was fixing to do, and I don't know how I knew all this. I guess it's just gift of knowledge, but I kept walking back and two, pacing the floor, until I just burst out the screen door, like knocked it off the hinges, started walking just as hard as I could. And I didn't really know where I was going, but previously, before I did that, I had run in there and got outside my bed on my knees and started praying. And I asked God to save my relationship and not let nothing happen that would cause me to do something stupid. And anyway, I walked back into, pacing back into, and I burst out the screen door, started walking as hard as I could, going somewhere, I didn't know where. And I praying all the time. And I started walking up the highway through the middle of town, going toward the center of town. And she said she passed me. And sure enough, just like I knew what had happened without being told, her neighbor friend had called her old boyfriend, and she was riding around waiting to meet him. And anyway, I kept walking as hard as I could. She said she passed me, but I didn't see her. And I kept walking toward the center of town. And when I got to a certain spot, the Lord told me to stop and wait right there. So I walked right up there just hard as I could walk and stopped right dead still. And at that time she came over the railroad track and pulled right up beside him and stopped. Well, I don't know if it was a stop sign there or a red light, but she had to stop. And when she did, I looked in there at her, and I let her know I was going to open the door. So the door was unlocked, and I unlocked the door and got in there and sat outside of it. And she pulled off. We rode through town, turned around at the Rebel, the little Rebel stop where they had hamburgers and all. And we come back through town, and at that same spot, through our conversation and everything, she made a commitment that we would marry. I asked her to marry me, she said yes. And it just seemed like I saw a beam of light come down. She just like she lit up. Anyway, I knew that God had answered my prayer. And I was so thankful that the God answered my prayer that we didn't go on no date. We just committed each other, and I told her, I said, let's go home, we'll make plans and get married. And we did. I stopped getting much mail, but I kept writing, and old Sarge come up to me one day and said, Brown, I need to talk to you. Come into my office. Well, he didn't really have no office. I think it was an old tandem truck body or something. We got up in there, and he sat on one side of the tandem truck, and he said, I want to talk to you about your family. I said, what's the matter? He said, well, you're going to have to start writing your family. I said, sorry, I've been writing my family every week. He said, no, don't tell me no story. We know that you ain't been writing your family. And I said, sorry, I assure you I've been writing my family. Anyway, what the problem was is they stopped delivering my letters. I think it was because there was a lot of people in Vietnam sending home ammunition, grenades, and contraband in the mail. But they held up all our mail and was screening it before it went out. And they held up my mail about 3 weeks, so at home they thought I'd done got killed or something. She got in touch with the Red Cross. And the Red Cross had got in touch with my sergeant. And he counseled me. I assured him that I would write my family, so he was satisfied and he was happy. But he didn't know what the problem was either. But we found out later that they had held up the mail. And after it went through, they got a whole bunch of letters. And everything got back normal again.
You have anything to add?
You want to add something there?
I was really worried about him, and I had to know that he was okay. And I'm glad that the Red Cross was there for me at that time.
Were you happy when you received all the letters?
Oh yes, I was always waiting on those letters. I still have them today. When I get 80, I'm gonna sit down and read them all.